Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and remove these pieces that are the foam mold inserts. We're gonna prep all these to get ready to glue them together. So I'm gonna go ahead and I prefer using a scalpel. I got a 100 pack of blades, and number one thing, whenever you're gonna use these, start with a fresh blade. Got this handy dandy disposer. I need to actually get a new one because this one is quite full. The blade's not even gonna go in there. And then start with a fresh blade so you get nice clean cuts. You could also just use a razor blade. Use a scalpel, like I said, or you can use just these style blades, whatever you got. But I've grown to find these to be really good. So we'll go ahead here and do a little fast forward kind of montage, I guess, of cutting these off. Okay, so now that we got all the pieces cut off, what we're going to do is we're going to glue in these smaller carbon spars. So one here, and here, and we're going to glue in these pieces. Before we do that though, I'm going to go ahead and sand these surfaces. So when these come out of the molds, they've got mold release on them. So you just want to rough it up a little bit with some sandpaper to get some of that off. Just make it stick better. If you forget, it sticks also. I've had no problems with the ones I've forgotten, but it's just better to do it. And while we're doing this build, we're going to try and do everything right, or as close to right as we can. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sand some of this stuff up, and we'll start gluing these guys in. Okay, so now we got them sanded up. Almost the surfaces are all sanded up and good to go. We get ready to start putting these pieces in. So one trick I learned, which I'm gonna use for holding these in, and then also once we go to glue things together, good method for holding the pieces together is little push pins, sewing pins. And with these guys, what I'll do is I'll glue it in there, put glue in underneath, maybe even run a little bit over the top. And then what I like to do is just take the pins and go alternating side to side. And basically that just holds it in. So you got it holding the spar down in that groove, so it's pushed down into the bottom. And you kind of, when you do it, you want to angle it steep and then pull down as you push it in. So it's pushing down on the carbon spar. So I'll just do that along the edge or along the length of it, and on this one also. These guys, when I put them in there, I might put some pins in just to help hold it down so it doesn't pop out with the if the glue kind of floats at all or anything. So again, we'll go ahead and push through and knocking these out, gluing them up. Oh, and my favorite glue for us Americans is E6000. The transparent or clear is usually the cheaper. I've only ever used the clear. I'm sure the other ones work just as well, but yeah, E6000 is good stuff. Ventilated area, all that good stuff, but it dries well. Do check with foams. My black ones I haven't had issues, but I've got a white, I think it's EPO foam. It's the Believer. It's a huge wing. It noticed that it softened the foam up until it cured, and then it was hard again, but it did divot some of them a little bit in larger areas where I had to put it. So just test it if you're really worried about it. But I know on the S800s, at least on my black one, and I think my buddy used it on his gray one, so it should be fine. But that's what I'll be using. So, okay, talk to you in a minute. Okay, so now this glue has got a chance to cure up, so we'll go ahead and pull these pins out. Okay, so the one thing I hadn't really thought about until when I got all these glued together, but when I build the S800s and kind of with my other the AR wing and some others, I don't put the winglets on until the very end. Problem I see is if you have this on, then it's hard to work on the bench. So if I wait to put the winglets on until the end, then I can lay it flat, and it's just easier to work with. So we're gonna go ahead and put those to the side. And what we're gonna do next is we're gonna go ahead and insert our spars. We'll do our first test fit, roughly centered, of our wings. I didn't really talk about it, but when you put these pieces in, you want to make sure you don't get too much glue down in the bottom, because you don't want it to bind up the bottoms. Or like this one. I didn't get the end of that piece cut off very well, so just go back and do that now. See, it's just a little thin. And I probably could have pushed the spar through it, but okay, we're ready to go fly. No, just kidding. So you'll see here, this isn't the greatest alignment on this one. I think this, I'm really kind of disappointed. I don't know if that's part of the reason Banggood put them on sale or what. This V2 fuselage mold seems to be pretty bad. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on it. The bottom seems lined up nicely. This wing actually seems fine. Excuse me. So yeah, as we're gluing it together, we'll try and see what we can do to get that to align. If I push that up, then the bottom's misaligned. So we'll see what we can do. So what I'm going to do, I'm pull both wings back off, and pull this one. I'm going to leave it on there a little bit. Actually, put both spars just started. Give myself a little bit of a gap. So what I'm going to do is apply the E6000 to the surface here, and then we'll put it together. And again, we're going to use the pins to crosshatch to keep it lined up. That helps. This one, the S800 is not as bad as like the AR wing. I think it was a little more because it's a longer wing surface. You get some flex, and that'll help you to push the foam down to align these. And actually, we'll have to do that a little bit on this one because the fuselage is pushed down a little bit. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get these glued up. So I just got everything glued up, not cured yet, but got the pins in here, and I just wanted to show. I still have this little gap here that is just going to be that way. I might try and shave it down then later with the blade, but it's fine. It'll fly just fine. So I just wanted, this wraps up the part one. Part two, we'll kind of go through with the servos and things where some pieces are going to go, and get ready to start doing the electronics install. So Hope you're enjoying this. Like, comment. If you got any questions about what you want to see in any of the other videos, or any questions about this video, leave a comment down below. Subscribe. Keep an eye on this playlist, and thank you again for checking in.